listening to us live on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Adam Nightstay, and this is Home Affairs. Our mandate on Home Affairs is to make homes out of houses. And if you have been with us for all the years, we're very sure and we believe in our hearts that every weekend you make a home out of the house you live in. We're grateful to God. The feedback over the years has been awesome, and we thank God that He gives us the strength to do this week in, week out. This week I came across this and I thought I should share it with you this morning on the show. Quickly, let me locate it. Okay, so it says that the point of seeking advice isn't to follow it blindly. It is to make sure you're thinking clearly. People give guidance from what works for them. It may or may not apply to you. And so the more their values and goals differ from yours, the more you should take it with a grain of salt. But my question at the end of that was, if I know that your thoughts, your goals, your values differ so much from me, then why do I even come to seek advice from you in the first place? Maybe you didn't know. But once you start talking to people and you know that, yes, if I am, I am in a dilemma and I am wondering what to do, and you think that, oh, this person is of good standing, or because of their experiences, you might want to pick their thoughts. That's fine, but it doesn't mean that you should take it blindly. Sometimes we are guided by people's, experiences, and what we're learning is that once you start listening to them and you realize that, these people, their thoughts, their values are way too far away from what you believe in, then you might want to reconsider the source you went to for the advice. Good morning, and once again, you're welcome. Now, last week we started a conversation on dealing with a narcissistic partner. We learned a bit about this person, and my take home last week was that, and this was from Adolf, who taught us that the greatest disability anybody can suffer is when you allow somebody to take over your mind. When your mind doesn't function anymore, you don't own your mind anymore. Someone tells you sit down, you say get up, you get up. Even when you know that at this particular point in time, sitting or getting up is not what you really need. But because you can't reason on your own anymore, that's what you do. And ultimately, this is who a narcissistic partner is. They make you believe that you do not have a mind of your own. You're controlled to the point where you're losing your mind. And we started working with a case study of, this friend of mine. We told the story. And so today we're continuing with a conversation. And there's so much to talk about, okay? We will share both links, the links from last week and then from this week as well, so that it's easy for you to follow the conversation. If you missed it last week, you can catch it on our Facebook and you can catch it on YouTube as well. We'll reshare the link from last week and then we'll name it part 1 and then the part 2 so that you can follow both conversations. It's very important that you follow the conversation. So this week, today actually, we started by asking these questions last week, but we didn't, get to discuss them. And reason I pleaded with Adolf and Phoebe to join us this morning. So what if you're already married to this person who is a narcissist? This person who controls you in ways that, make you feel like you're losing your mind. How do you cope such that you do not lose your mind and still keep your sanity? You're already in it. We learned last week that once you see the signs, you will have to flee already because you will not be in a place to help this person. You can't help them. If they realize that they have issues and they need help, yes, you may be able to recommend a professional for them, but you yourself cannot become the therapist. And so when you realize it, you will have to flee. But in the case where you're already married to the person, you saw it, but you probably thought that, it would change after marriage, which is what most of us do. But you get into the marriage and you realize that, it's even getting worse. How do you cope with a person? Those are the conversations we'll be having this morning. And again, we also learned somewhere last week, it came up that once this person realizes that you're beginning to gain confidence, sometimes what they do is that they begin to tighten their grip on you even more. You know, they realize that all of a sudden, whoa, this person is becoming confident. They're not kowtowing and bowing and, you know, crying and dying at, you know, their every scream. And now they realize that no, if I don't take care, I will lose control. And then they begin to tighten their grip on you again. What do you do at that point? And someone also sent in a question, was asking, how do they relate to their immediate families and even to their, you know, their extended family? And if they're in marriage, then, you know, how does it play out with their in-laws? So we will be having conversations on these lines and would like you to join us. You can send your questions, your thoughts, and your comments through on 055 1111997, 055 1111 997. And hopefully, if we activate the phone lines, we are able to. It will be on 0302 216541. 0302 216541. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, we have our tweets going on Twitter, Instagram, and the handle is at joy997. And you can join us on all these platforms so you do not miss anything. But right about now, let me welcome my guest to the show. Adolphe Ewuku-Bekwei is a clinical psychologist and a senior lecturer. Adolphe, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to you.
We appreciate your time very much. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Great. And hey, there you are, Phoebe Besemete. Phoebe is a family life counselor. Hi, Phoebe. Good morning.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
I am well, thank you. You're glowing.
So are you.
Beautiful. Daniela, could you please help us in the studio? We can hardly hear Phoebe, so if you could help us with her faders in the studio, would appreciate it very much. Thank you. Now, so we jump straight into the conversation, but ahead of that, let me just say a very big thank you to our sponsors on Home Affairs, Amasha Partners Limited on Eye Care, Cerelac, it's all good, ma'am, Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for white teeth and fresh breath all day long. This is another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste, Happy Smile, Music Haven, your musical coach, and Onga, Mama's Helping Hand. Ilili, thank you for banking on Home Affairs. We appreciate all of you. Adolphe, let me start with you. You're here with me, so let me start with you. Now, we're saying that, so what if you're already in a relationship with this person? Not just a relationship that you can just get up one moment and say that I am out, but you're married to this person. You have responsibilities in that relationship. You probably even have children who are young. And for a lot of reasons, you're not able to flee. How do you cope living with this person? Or otherwise, you quickly might want to just tell us a little bit of the things we said last week, especially so about who this person is, so that people who didn't join us last week are able to at least know who the narcissistic person is before we talk about living with him.
Thank you very much. I quite remember we indicated the fact that a narcissist is a person who would always want to have the spotlight on him or her, for that matter.
It's a theater. And
yes.
they are always the, you know,
yes.
the protagonist.
Exactly. A lot of drama and the sense for admiration so high, you can't really meet their record. And they're very controlling. And the control is geared towards making sure that his wishes become your obligation and all that. So the bottom line is that these persons have dysfunctions in their identity, emotions, and relatedness. So relating, controlling their emotions, they have a problem. And absolutely nothing you do will change them until they are ready to change. Oftentimes, partners who are living with narcissists would work themselves out and become so exhausted, wanting a way out for them Unfortunately, if they don't want a way out,
There's no way out.
there is no way out. And so that is the summary from my
it.
end.
And I remember we quickly told the story of this, friend of mine who fell in love with one such person. And I mentioned that, look, we're ladies who have meetings once a month. Okay, we meet and then we have conversations amongst ourselves. We tend to pray and do all that. And when eventually this person came into her life, in like what, a 2-3 hour meeting, he would have called like 7 times. Are you not missing me? Should I come and pick you? Haven't you stayed there for too long? Why do you want to stay away from me for too long, and all that? And it's like, oh no, but we do this all the time. Yes, but I am in your life now, so let me come and get you and all that. And sometimes it's very irritating. There are times that she doesn't even feel like answering the call because it's just going to be on the same lines. Now, there were other ladies in the team who felt like, oh wow, you have a man who is so doting over you. He can't afford not to have you with him and all that. And they felt this was the height of being in love, and every woman should be dying for such. But I thought that it was he was a bit too possessive, obsessed with you and quite controlling. There were times that she wouldn't even come to the meeting. Gradually they got married and she wouldn't even step out again. Then, we had conversations and she told me how she was choking. She doesn't even have a mind of her own. There's no decision she's able to make. It has to be, I think you should do this. She has a job offer, a promotion. He says, no, I didn't think you should take it, because if you take it, it's going to keep you away from me for too long. You should do this, you should do that. What you're doing is just enough. You can't do anything without his explicit approval, And there are times that he presents himself like the needy one. Yeah. Why do you want to do this? Or do you not appreciate the love I have for you? I do all of this for you. I do this. You don't show appreciation for it. You don't do this. And make you feel so bad and so ungrateful, And it's like there is no way out for you. You're having conversations. You want to put your thoughts on the line. It's like, it's okay. I understand. Let's just do it this way. And yeah, even food that you want to eat, he decides what food you should eat at what point in time. And for him, I care so much about you that even the food you're eating is important to me, that I am helping you choose what you should eat or telling you what you should eat. The person makes you feel like, look, the very minute things about you are on my mind, but you on the receiving end, you feel like you're choking. You can't breathe. You do not matter. You'll have to put your thoughts, your feelings, and everything that you hold dear on the back burner if you will have peace in your home. And that's what brought about this conversation. And we realized that a person who does that to you is narcissistic. Now, so we had a lot of conversations around them. And today we are at this point where we are talking about how to live with them if you're already married to them, like my friend is. Phoebe, few recaps from you for last week.
Yes, we spoke about the narcissistic partner and how they draw all the energy towards themselves. They lack empathy towards their partner. When you're in a relationship with them, it can be extremely draining because everything needs to be focused on them. And being in that type of dynamic, most people who find themselves in that relationship initially believe that the person is the life of the party. They are so attractive. They seem to shine in every public setting. And so there's that deception that, oh, this person is loving, this person is kind, this person is going to be a great future partner. But once you get into the relationship, you quickly realize that it's not sustainable, because you don't have the capacity to keep feeding their ego, to keep feeding that emotional need. And eventually it can start to feel like, you're just being emotionally drained every single day to just make them feel better about themselves. And the thing that we also spoke about is, when you look at them closely, they actually have a very fragile self-esteem. So as much as we may think that this person is very grandiose in the way they portray themselves, they actually feel very small. And that's why they need that constant affirmation, that constant positive speech, that constant recognition. That's why the gentleman would say, no, you must cook to my preference. It doesn't mean that the woman doesn't have a better recipe, but he actually needs to feel that my way is best all the time.
Great. Thank you for those recaps. So let's get into today. We're already here with this person. My friend is married to this person. And I mean, her marriage is barely 2 years and she's not looking at moving out of that marriage. I mean, it's not part of the consideration. And she hopes that she can make it work. Now, from what we have said, until this person realizes that I have a problem, it's difficult to be diagnosing their problems for them and wanting to get them solutions, right?
Yeah.
So now the question is, you that you are in it, that you are choking, how do you cope? Adolf?
Right, thank you. Two ways. You've painted a picture where the woman isn't ready to leave.
No.
Okay.
She wants to make it work.
She wants to make it work. She has no way of changing the circumstances, what confronts her.
Yeah.
So, in this regard, focusing on the problem becomes a problem. And the problem is your partner. Unfortunately, you don't have the capacity, or you haven't yet taken the decision that you want to change him, because you can't. And he is also not ready to change.
Because I was going to ask if it was part of the solution that you can make a decision to change the person.
You can't.
Great.
Okay? In that case, you focus on your emotions.
Okay.
You have made a decision to stay in it. You focus on your emotions. You have to work on how you understand the problem, interpret the problem, to maximize your own mental health. Because even if you want to opt out of the relationship, it isn't going to be just an event. It's going to be a process. And whilst you're waiting, whilst you're hoping that change will happen, you have to deal with yourself. Of course, you have to consult a professional so that how you see the problem and define the problem will help you deal with the problem. Because he is no longer the problem. He says, this is who I am. Take me or leave me. You have decided to take him. So you have to be comfortable under your skin. Okay, but there is a limit to what you can take. Whilst you seek help in discussing your issues with professionals, they may give you some strategies to begin to nudge him so that he will come around to where the two of you want to be. But it then becomes exclusively your issue, because you do not want to upset the relationship. You want to be eternally grateful for him being around. You admire him, all that. But you see, the point is, it shouldn't be. Enduring what is hurting, enduring pain, can be to a certain limit. Your mental health is extremely important. The moment you begin to suffer mental health issues, don't wait until you have gotten to a point of no return. That is extremely important. Unfortunately, we would wait. And whilst we are waiting, we are deteriorating. What do you want in life? And I think that we have to address the sociocultural hangovers that marriage is permanent. Yes, when it is working. We are believers, I assume. I am, and I believe in the permanence of marriage, but not at the expense of any of the two parties in that arrangement. The whole idea of making marriage a point of no return, even where the internal dynamics of the marriage is so toxic, I think we must review that. Because for me, life is extremely important. Do what you can, but don't suffer irreparable damage to your being because you want to become a salvationist in your thinking. You have the power to rescue somebody. No. I think it is very important.
That's important. Wow.
Yeah.
So this week, Phoebe, she posted this week. She says that going through narcissistic abuse is a really lonely experience. It is not like other relationships. There are so many different dynamics. You're dealing with lies, possible infidelities, verbal, psychological, or other kinds of abuse or abuses, trauma, a loss of self-esteem, deception, and so much more. And even as I write this, I know the only people who really understand what I am talking about are the people who have gone through it. This is not just a bad relationship experience, it's the murder of a person's spirit. It's the dismantling and destruction of a life, one piece at a time, and you're trying desperately to hold it together. People who don't understand, rather than helping, are looking at you like you're going crazy. And in a weird way, it feels like you are. The relationship is slowly breaking you apart. It's a difficult and horrible experience to go through. I would not wish it on anyone. It's one of the things she posted today, within the week. And on the same lines, I read in it, it says that you're trying to hold it together. And sometimes people feel like you're going crazy. And when you look at yourself, you feel rightly so. And you know that this thing is a horrible experience. It is breaking you apart. But sometimes you just have to stay in it.
Well, you did mention that she has made the choice to stay in the marriage and she wants to try her best to make it work.
And you know that so many people make these choices, right?
Yeah.
So this conversation is to help them cope because those are their choices.
Exactly. Adam. And
Adolf disagrees.
I know he does, but I have a different viewpoint. My heart really goes out to her. It is a very difficult and challenging situation, but in the sense that it is a relationship, she also has a role to play. And I know that she feels very defeated, and I know that being in that situation after a while, I can feel as if there's nothing I can do. But there are a few things you can do whilst you're in the relationship, because there is a dynamic that has been created between the two of you. There is a part that you also can play in possibly changing things in the relationship or getting him to the realization that this isn't working and this is not how a successful marriage is supposed to be. So the first thing that she needs to do is really reflect and ask herself that how did she get attracted to such a person? What aspects, what is it about him made her feel that this is somebody I could be safe with? Because from your narration, she saw the signs before they got married. Even you did. So she has to ask herself, is it because she needed to feel loved? Is it because she needed so much attention from somebody else? What actually led her down this path? The reason why she needs to do this self-reflection is for her to make the choice to turn things around on her side. Because even from our conversation, what you learn about the narcissistic partner is that they require, they need, they demand that emotional support and appraisal and affirmation on a daily basis. If you took that away, if you started to recognize your own self in the relationship, you started to assert your own confidence and your own personhood, what would happen? What would happen if you start voicing up and realizing, no, this is not how it's supposed to be. This dynamic isn't going to work going forward. I'm not saying that you have to be openly disrespectful towards your partner. That's not the way to go. But you also need to do a deep dive and ask yourself that, how is it that it came to be this way? And what role did I play? I mentioned last week that most people who get tied in with a narcissistic person find out that they have codependent tendencies. So they need someone to lead them. They need someone to instruct them. I'm not saying that's the case in your friend's situation, but that's why Adolf also mentioned that she would need to speak to a professional. But there is that possibility. It's a very high possibility because the narcissistic person needs someone who has that high level of dependency on them and doesn't mind that they lead, they make all the decisions, they are the ones who set the pace of the relationship. When she does that and she's able to find out and pinpoint those sensitive points or issues or things that she herself maybe she has allowed because maybe that is what she's learned, that is a very good place to start making those changes. She can start looking at it, okay, how am I also feeding this behavioral trait and this trend in my partner? What kind of steps can I take to turn things around? Is there a way that I can illuminate this fault in him without making it about him, but rather focusing on me? And in it, eventually, what I hope is that it would spark some conversation. He will notice that change. And then hopefully the two of them can get professional help or at least start the conversation among themselves and see what could happen.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I appreciate where Phoebe is coming from. I mean, once the woman, the partner has made a decision to stay, I appreciate the fact that it changes the dynamics a bit. But the point is this: would you want to become a sacrificial lamb to feed the ego of a narcissist, which will never ever get satisfied because he gets on a treadmill more and more, and he habituates. The point is, there is absolutely no point you would ever meet his expectation. So it is a journey. And I mean, listening to what you were reading, clearly there is a heart that is so battered. Is this friend of yours reading from me is dying. There is no two ways about that. If we open what she's writing apart, she is dying. My point is, what is it that you are looking for in life? First and foremost, protect the life that you have. You will do everything to make sure your relationship survives. Why must it be at your disadvantage? Because in the end, you would become so miserable. Because it is like you are the single tree that is serving as a windbreak. And we say in our language, it takes two to tango. The burden of the relationship isn't on your head. I think that it must be coming from a certain inherent need. Phoebe talked about, about codependency needs. You want someone to direct you. And no, if you are the one who has a dependent personality, you will be driven by a narcissist, because a narcissist
makes you feel like you can depend on me.
Exactly. And in the end, in the privacy of your thought, you become so disillusioned, you become so saddened, you do not enjoy life. Life is too short. There is no virtue, honestly, there is no virtue in taking a decision that you want to endure unhappiness.
Two questions on my mind.
I want to say something quickly, Adam, but you see, Adolf, we also need to bear in mind that there are two broken people in the relationship. It's not just the lady. And I know that we are trying to find a way to support her in her decision to stay in the marriage. It's her decision to stay in the marriage. I understand that your perspective is that if the person is struggling in the marriage, they should exit. That is not my thinking, to be honest. But there are two broken people in the relationship, and a narcissistic person can be rehabilitated, can be helped out of that behavioral style. So I think that as much as she's struggling, the best, the best approach is to support this lady, give her the tools to build up her self-esteem, build up her self-confidence again, find her, find herself within the relationship, whilst also finding ways to help the gentleman, because there is something that is wrong here. Walking out may not necessarily be the solution, and she has already mentioned that she doesn't want to. So I think we should be also looking for ways to support her decision and to encourage her, not to make it look like this is the end of her life.
Question number one on my mind as we have this conversation is this narcissistic persons we're talking about. Do they not have any sense of empathy at all? Especially so when you realize, and that one is in your face, right? You can actually see that your partner, be it the man or the woman, is broken. They're not happy. Sometimes you can tell that they're really becoming a shadow of themselves. This is not who they were when you met them. Do they not have any sense of empathy at all? Do they not see through this, or they're just clouded by who they are?
That is exactly what you've said. Clouded by who they are and what they seek. And so you feeling so exhausted, wanting empathy, he wants more of that from you.
Your brokenness is what makes them strong.
Aren't you faking it?
Oh, Christ.
Okay, so for me, you can do all in your power as a partner wanting to make the relationship work. Sadly and unfortunately for you, the power to make that happen isn't in your hand. You can do all you want to do, and by all means do all you want to do, but know that until and unless he comes around, your hopes may be dashed. That is the stark reality that has sent many, many women not enjoying their relationship. You have to make sacrifices. It is not a walk in the park. Every relationship is not a walk in the park. But are you still married? The question I will ask. Are you still married?
Right, yeah.
Because there are many single couples living in marriages.
Married but single.
Married but single. You are driving the relationship. It's so exhausting. And I don't think it is a good testimony for marriages.
Sure.
It isn't. And we must also be mindful of the generation after us. Younger people. You have a daughter, you have a son, and this is the picture of marriage you are painting to them. I wouldn't want to endorse that. I appreciate Phoebe. It is entirely the decision of this woman. Yes, I will support you, but I cannot support you to death. And by this, I'm not just creating a very helpless situation that there is no way out. But it is what it is. Just know what the stakes are. And if you've decided to become a sacrificial lamb, go ahead. You need your partner to come around for the change effort that you are so much praying for. I believe in miracles. But we must also really insist that
you must live to enjoy the miracles.
You can't change. You don't take medicine for the sick person, as we say.
So I want to find out again, are there ways by which, Phoebe, you can gradually draw this person's mind? Because you talked about the fact that they're two broken people. Last week, we looked at the background of this narcissistic person and what usually drives them to becoming who they are, right? Could be a tendency they are picking from their family, could be because of how they were brought up and all that. And so they grow up, becoming this person that they are. Unfortunately, they have become that, they have imbibed it, and for them, this is it, But for you who is hurting with them and still want to stay, is there a way that you can gradually let this person see that they're not being normal? Is there a way?
There are a number of ways. I want us to look at something in particular. When you look at the narcissist, psychologists have actually studied this extensively. The role between self-esteem and self-compassion is one of the key areas that one has to look at when you're dealing with a narcissist. So they look more at their self-esteem, because being brought up, everything was about their performance, their grades, how they looked, so they tend to pinpoint their value on their results, the things, their performance, basically. And that's why they are performance-based people. Now, when you look at people who appreciate self-compassion, these are people who forgive their mistakes, who learn how to take things a day at a time. And they are also the people who are able to develop empathy for other people because they also recognize their own faults. Now, when you know this to start with, it will really help you. In this case, the woman needs to make a decision also not to feed that thing in him that needs that constant praise, that constant acclamation, and that constant affirmation. She needs to stop feeding it. And the only way she can do that is, first and foremost, she needs to establish herself mentally. She needs a support system. She needs her friends, her family. She needs, if she's going to see a therapist, a psychologist, a counselor, she needs a support system. Because as Adolf was saying, she is struggling. It's not unheard of. It is tough. But she needs a support system, number one. You knowing this, for instance, Adam, you can be part of her support system. I know you already are, already looking for solutions for her. But she needs that close-knit support. Then she also needs to recognize the trend, the habits that this man has developed. She needs to be able to recognize the triggers. So, I mean, what does it look like on a normal day? He's calling you 10 times a day. You don't need to pick up every single call. You can text him and say, okay, do you know what? I'm busy at this moment. I'll get back to you when I have an opportunity to do so.
Might you not end up paying 10 times more?
Not necessarily. It depends on the approach. I've actually had clients dealing with this. That's why I'm speaking in this manner. It actually, what happened in the case that I dealt with, it awakened the gentleman to the fact that, no, something is wrong. And then he stepped forward and said, you know what, maybe we need to have a couple session and talk about this. If the lady did not, because at the time, like Adolf said, this, you can't change him. You can't fix him. All you can do is change what you do. In his case, he's saying it's going to deteriorate and you have to leave eventually. In my case, I'm saying that start here and force your support system. Make sure that those who need to know that you're struggling and you're having a hard time. Do not isolate yourself. Reach out for help. See the therapist, see the counselor, see the psychologist. Start getting help to reestablish yourself. And then cut off that thing that's feeding him. You don't need to do it drastically, but then you know that, okay, no, he does this all the time. It's because I have recognized that he needs this constant cheering squad. I can't do that all the time for this gentleman. I love him, but I can't do that. So start, regulating it. Cut it down. It will make him sit up and say, no, what's going on here? It's not as it used to be. What's going on? And that is the point that we want to get into, where he starts to sit up and say, something is changing.
Okay. That brings me to the next leg of the conversation, which is like a very difficult part because, like I said, right, I have been working with this friend of mine and we talk almost, oh God, can't remember the number of times we talk in a day, you know. So she finds things, she sends them, especially so when it speaks to her situation, then she sends it over or she'll post it, you know. So here's another one. And that is how come it was part of the things we tabled to talk about. She says, narcissists can sense when you're getting fed up. Yeah. They know when you're starting to gain confidence or strength. And that's what you're talking about. Narcissistic individuals cannot stand losing control. They will either work harder to repress you again, or they will leave you. If their madness does not work on you anymore, some narcissists immediately look for a new supply. And as soon as they have the opportunity, they will try to leave and abandon you in the worst of ways. This is your punishment for reclaiming your spirit and finding your strength. They need dominance and control over you, and you will not have it any other way. Narcissists want puppets, not people. So then I noticed that, through our conversations, she's trying, to do the things you're talking about. She's trying to realize that before you came into my life, I was a complete human being. I was taking care of myself. I was on my own. And somehow I fell in love, for lack of a better word, foolishly. And then all of a sudden, I don't have my life anymore. And so gradually, no, I need to start doing things for and by myself again. And then this person realizes that, no, we need Tiba. And so then you will start tightening your grip on the person. And that's how come I asked you, won't you be punished 10 times more? Because then the more you try to loosen their hold on you, the more they do other things that kill you further. Because what we also realize is that the person is afraid to lose you. Yes. And so they really want to pinch you where it hurts. And in her situation, sad enough for us, she has very deep-seated feelings for the guy. And so she is not looking at really doing things for the guy to leave. And so it is a very complex situation in this one. It's a very complex situation in this one. Adolf.
Yes, it is complex.
Yes.
As I indicated early on, it is not a walk in the park. Every relationship is complex.
Yeah.
Okay. Life generally is complex.
Sure.
Sometimes you want to romanticize life. It is not. It isn't. The romantic side of life is fleeting. They just can go quickly.
But that's the one we enjoy. We like it.
And that is why oftentimes we end up
like this.
Like this.
Oh God.
So life is brutish. And I think that for me, by all means, I will work with this person. But there must be a goal. We cannot just
be working.
While you get fixed, you go back, you lose yourself. You get fixed, you go back, you lose yourself.
So what are we working at?
One day, you will lose yourself permanently.
That's true.
You lose yourself permanently. And that we shouldn't lose sight of it. Now, we must look at a trajectory. I am very sensitive because of what I do. You see, not every abuser is a narcissist, but almost every narcissist
is an abuser.
Are they emotional, and as they begin to tighten the
grip on you,
it becomes physical.
Yeah.
It becomes physical. So we need to really assess the situation to see whether it is getting there. I will go with Phoebe at the initial stages where you are dealing with the emotional stuff, to see how you can really get him around to fix the problem, because you can fix the problem for him. I understand that there is a certain vulnerability this person has, but
Which is who? The woman?
the narcissist.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yes, and of course, I mean, they pick and choose who they can. They are very smart people. They know who they can prey on, and they know who they can prey on, and they're never short of devices to keep on controlling you. Okay, so the question is, should you live, and what about you? Where is your life? Because it appears he's completely taken over her life. She doesn't have a life of her own. So you live your entire life wanting to fix somebody who doesn't want to fix himself. The narcissist must come around to embrace his vulnerability. That is where there is a likelihood of making progress. Of course, they are human beings and are entitled to all graces, but not when they are abusive of the graces that come their way. So again, case by case, but in the context we are looking at, I think that there must be some what I call some radical intervention for this friend, not to say go out of the relationship, but to have a certain cognitive orientation. There is serious need for some cognitive orientation here, restructuring, because the assumptions are fundamentally flawed. The assumptions she holds about relationship, they are flawed, they are fatal, and it must be told the way it is. There is hope, and that hope your partner who is narcissist must embrace, and to say, I want to do something about me. This is me. I have a weakness, I have a vulnerability. There must be a cry for help. You may show the way by holding him accountable, but you also must do that mindful of your safety.
I will share with you the array of hope. I mean, these are her experiences, but we have a glimpse of hope. And I will share with you before we leave here and see if we are on the right path. Yeah. But good food brings memories. That's why taste matters. And Onga is the taste master. As taste masters, we give every meal that superior taste. Our wide range of Onga flavors assures you of a superior taste and irresistible aromas. Why don't you get Onga powders? So we have the stew 3 mix, which is a combination of ginger, onions, and garlic, classic and chicken. Oh yes, and for the Onga tablets, the shrimp, chicken, beef, and stew. We have a flavor for every meal. This is just what you need for an Ongalicious meal. And by the way, Ongalicious is the new delicious. Onga, Mama's helping hand. Ilili. Having your baby try out different tastes and flavors isn't just about giving them a change of taste. This helps to develop their palates and prepares them better for accepting variety of adult foods as they grow. So go ahead and try any of our 6 Cerelac variants. We're talking about the wheat, the maize, the rice, biscuity fruit pieces, and my personal favorite, millet. Remember, each bowl of Cerelac contains goodness that helps your child's normal growth and development. Cerelac, it's all good, ma'am. This advert is FDA approved. And for your eye care challenges, look no further. Amasha Partners Limited and Eye Care has it all. Your eyes deserve the best care and quality designer eyeglasses. Amasha Partners and Eye Care undertake the following services: supply of designer frames, sight testing, supply of lenses, sunglasses, contact lenses, ophthalmologist in attendance, and general treatment. Locate us at La Opsa Trade Fair, Spinters, they are adjacent the ICGC before the Community 18 Junction, McCarthy Hill opposite Benjay Lodge, North Kanishi Swan Lake opposite Greenhand Junction, Achimota, they are in the Denswa Plaza on the second floor, Takrade on the Axim Road opposite CBG Bank. Ho, they are opposite Housing Junction. Kumasi, you'll find them at the airport roundabouts, Kolibu opposite ECG, and Koforidua Central Hospital Road. And in Tema, they are inside the Meridian Plaza in Community 1. Numbers to call 0302 939850 and 0302 778827. You can follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And after 2 successful clinics, the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, powered by the Planned City Extension Project, will birth at the Accra International Conference Center for the main fair. That's the 2022 fair. Visit the main fair for the best deals from the industry players, ranging from real estate, mortgage financing, home improvement loans, security, roofing, lighting, building accessories, and many more, from Wednesday 24th to Sunday 28th August 2022 from 8 a.m. 2 to 7 p.m. daily. There will be a seminar, live webinars, and giveaways from the Accra International Conference Center. So don't be left out from the 5-day exhibition on the one-stop shop for all housing needs. For enquiries, please call 054-690-8179 and 054-011-0389. The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitats, Rent to Own, and sponsored by Elegant Homes and General Construction Limited, where quality meets value. Virtual Security Africa, Complete Security Solutions, Superlock Technologies Limited. You deserve the best. Clifton Homes, beautiful homes, wise investments. Visit cliftonghana.com today. DBS Industries Limited, we truly are your roof experts. Duraplast Limited, where Duraplast goes, water flows. Gold Key Properties, building prestige since 1997. Saint Gobain Weber, Guy Proc and Isova Ghana Limited, making the world a better home. Syntex Tank, a year strong, a year tough, and Sethi Realty, the future of living. EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, where you live matters. So I said that we had an eye or a glimpse of hope. So I have some messages here. Let me try and share. Good morning, Adam. Thank God for your life. Great topic. Last week I couldn't listen. Don't you think that when a man is the breadwinner and he has the money to provide, he controls everyone and everything at home? That's not the kind of control we are talking about here. This one is almost to the point of, madness, if you like. Adam, good morning. I am really happy you're continuing this topic today. As a man, I'm dating one, and sometimes I feel like being violent. Hey, please don't be. What should I do? This is Franklin from Airport. Franklin will take your contact and have further conversations with you. But at least you're not married yet. You have noticed it, and if you're thinking of being violent, then there's so much you can do. How do you discuss this topic without making anyone listening feel they're narcissists just because they may on one occasion or the other have behaved this way? This is a continuous behavior. This is how the person is. This is not a one-off thing. Good morning to you and your panelists. My ex keeps pushing to win me back after misbehaving with me by going out with married men and not listening to my advice. I finally decided to walk away, of which she was fine, but as time goes on, she realized she lost gold while she was searching for stones. Now I am in a happy relationship. Congratulations to you. And she keeps worrying me with calls even at late hour. What do I do to get rid of her? Really, I kind of have a feeling you are enjoying the fact that she's pestering you, because this is a one-time cut off. Good morning, Eden. Thank you for the opportunity to meet Ariel. Okay, please kindly help me know if a narcissist, so a woman can also be a narcissist too. Oh yes, of course, women can be narcissists too. I think sometimes theirs is even more terrible. So the hope we have, we'll take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll come and talk about that quickly before we go. But I mean, she tried something. I don't know how sustainable that is, but I'll share.
Okay, good.
Ophebia, did you brush your teeth before eating?
No, mommy. Anytime I use daddy's toothpaste, I get bruises in my mouth and sometimes I feel like vomiting.
That's not an excuse. As a child, you need to brush your teeth before you take your breakfast to avoid tartar and cavity, okay? And you, why are you laughing at your sister? Have you brushed your teeth?
Yes, Mom. I used the Kel Kids toothpaste you brought yesterday to brush my teeth.
Well done, darling. Kel Kids toothpaste is made for kids like you from 2 years to 6 years.
It was so sweet like strawberry. I even wanted to eat it, Mom.
No, you can't eat it. It's toothpaste, not toffee, okay? It's always advisable to give your kids Kel Kids toothpaste to brush their teeth. Kel Kids toothpaste strengthens teeth and prevents decay and cavities. As a mother, I always make sure my kids use Kel Kids toothpaste. Kel Kids toothpaste with strawberry flavor makes brushing exciting for our kids.
Kel, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Have you heard? There's a seasoning for every meal, yeah. Hunger seasoning is full of flavor, so tasty and hungerlicious. Great aroma, oh my hunger. Mama's evident, hunger chicken for your chicken soup. Hunger seasoning. Hunger stew for your fante. Delicious seasoning. Hunger stew for your love. Hunger seasoning. Hunger beef for chichinga. Delicious seasoning. Hunger classic for your palava sauce. Hunger seasoning.
Onga, Mama's helping hand.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Having your baby try out different tastes and flavors isn't just about giving them a change of taste. This helps to develop their palate and prepares them better for accepting varieties of adult food as they grow. So go ahead and try any of our 6 Cerelac variants, that is wheat, maize, rice, biscuity, fruit pieces, and millet. Remember, each bowl of Cerelac contains goodness that helps your child's normal growth and development. Cerelac, it's all good, Mum. This advert is FDA approved.
There's going to come a time that the church will rise as the highest of all the mountains, and saviors will be raised in the church to deal with the world system. And let it be now. We need to have a national focus. We don't have to lose this ambition, or else we work against the Great Commission.
They are equipped in righteousness, the agenda to possess the nations. Welcome to an equipping center of the word and prayer on Pentecost Hour. Pentecost Hour comes to you on Joy 99.7 FM, this and every Monday at 9:30 p.m.
The majesty of God in itself goes beyond the capacity of human understanding. On Sunday, the 28th of August, 2022, come join Perez Music, MOG, Akesi Brimpong, Ife Grace, and all the way from Nigeria, Peter, as we present Glorified, Theme, Splendor, and Majesty. The venue is Victory Bible Church, Headquarters, Awoshi. The time is 5 p.m. Grab a token for 50 Ghana Cedis single, 80 Ghana Cedis double, and 100 Ghana Cedis VIP. Token outlets: Joy FM, Sunny FM, Stood Supermarket, Dansoman, Bachuna Total, and Victory Bible Church Bookshop. Or dial star 365 star 321 hash on all networks to purchase a token. This event is powered by Rima City of Worship. Media partners: Joy Entertainment.
Thank you very much for staying with us here on Home Affairs. We are live on Joy Prime Television and also on Joy 99.7 FM if you're tuned in and listening to us. And this morning we're going to beg the Weekends Show team to give us about 5 minutes so that we can wrap up on this conversation. So Team Weekends Show, please give us about 5 to 7 minutes to quickly wrap up on this conversation. We may be going off on television, but we're still going to be live on radio to just finish up quickly. But Good food, once again, brings good memories. That is why taste matters, and Onga is the taste master. As taste masters, we give every meal that superior taste. A wide range of Onga flavors assures you of a superior taste and irresistible aroma. Why don't you get your Onga powders? The stew, the 3 mix, which is the combination of ginger, onions, and garlic, our classic, and chicken. Oh yes, and for the Onga tablets, the shrimp, chicken, beef, and stew. We have a flavor for every meal. This is just what you need for an Ongalicious meal. And by the way, Ongalicious is the new delicious. Onga, Mom is helping hand. Ilili. And as the Made in Ghana Expo, 60 German-trained Ghanaian SMEs from 3 different sectors, agri-processing and cosmetics, wood processing and furniture production, and from the garment, textiles and fashion sector will showcase their products in exhibition style on Saturday, 13th August at the Accra International Conference Center. That's today. Come in with your family, friends, and loved ones to experience a variety of products from fresh and processed food products, furniture, cosmetics, clothing, and a host of others made to international standards and discounted just for you. It's Saturday, 13th August, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Accra International Conference Center. You can call or WhatsApp 055-8567-260. Number again is 055-8567-260. This exhibition is brought to you by Invest for Jobs, an initiative of the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, implemented by GIZ Ghana and supported by Cognos International. Okay, so quickly, I was saying that something happened, yeah? This friend of mine went to work. It was a work, function, and she came back pretty late. It was after 9, and she had actually informed him that I have this function to attend, so I wasn't going to be home early today. Right. He says, okay. Now, by the time it was 8:30, the messages started coming, the calls were coming, and there was a function, so she couldn't pick, messages upon messages. You're a married woman. Why didn't you just decline? If you knew I was going to go this late, why are you not home? And okay, then he'll change it. Should I come and pick you because I think it's late? How are you going to be safe and all that? She said she ignored every single one of them because this is work, and it's not like I'm just out there having fun. Eventually, when he got home, he was standing outside waiting and was like, so look at the time. It's almost 10 p.m. and you're now coming home, married woman. What kind of work function is that? He went on and on and on and on and on. And she said, for the first time, Adam, I lost it. I screamed back at him and said, enough of this. Enough. I am tired. You need to see a psychologist. You have a problem. Before you met me, she was above 30, I had lived my life, I had done all of this and this and this and this and this. And so why are you doing this? You make me lose my mind. Look how I look. She said she just vented and poured everything. And I think it was you who talked about the physical abuse. Mm-hmm. For the first time, he shoved her. So she said you could see that he was visibly angry, but just shoved her. I asked, were you terrified? She said, I was ready for anything. Mm-hmm. At that point in time, she felt like if you hit me, I was going to hit you back, because she had it. Shoved her, and for like 3 days, he just kept going in and out of the house without talking to her. Mm-hmm. After the 3rd day, he came back and said, those things you said, did you actually say them to me? Did you talk to me like that? She said, yes, you have a problem. You have a problem, and you need to bring yourself for us to talk about it, or we seek professional advice. He didn't say anything. And she says he still hasn't said anything. But what she realizes is that he has become sober. Mm-hmm. And she sees that he is always in a pensive mode, kind of thinking, could what she said be true? But then again, she's not sure what his next line of action will be. But she felt like for the first time, I have been able to stand up to him and tell him that you have to start looking within. The fear, however, is that what's the next line of action? I don't know. And she doesn't know how to react the next time, but she feels like I have done something good. I just want people to wrap up on this and to find out, is it a step in the right direction, or she rather stepped on the tail of the tiger? So we can wrap up.
Honestly, I think it is a step in the right direction.
Great.
Sorry. Because sorry. Now, I wrote on my timeline, that confronting the monster, connecting with love. Okay, both ways. Either the man confronts the monster in him or the woman does so. That is exactly what you're talking about. Now, you do that mindful of your safety. So what is going to happen or must happen is that she must begin to take her safety planning seriously.
Okay.
All right. Whilst you confront, be mindful of your safety. Have others. Now you can go to him in this state. You can now present your issues, engage him, because there is that vista there that you have to zoom in and say, let's talk about it. What are your fears in this relationship? Because absolutely all that drama is covering up a certain vulnerability. And that is the empathy the woman can show. I sense there is a certain vulnerability you have. What are you afraid of? Am I a child? Can't I go in and out? Am I disrespecting you? No. So what is it that doesn't make you comfortable under your skin?
I like this.
So you get because that is an opening. Okay, you zoom in with that, and then you make options available.
Great. I like this. Yeah. Phoebe. So you don't wait as she is sitting down afraid. You don't wait to see what he will do next, but she can actually zoom in love and start asking these questions. I love that.
I was actually going to say that I was a bit afraid for her safety as well.
Yeah.
So I think I wouldn't attack him physically or engage in any physical altercations. Please, if she's listening, please don't do that again. But as I mentioned before, since she already has a support group, I'm glad that she told you so that you can keep checking on her, making sure she's safe. As the door is open, and as she already mentioned to him that I think you need to see someone, if I were her, I would book an appointment as soon as possible and invite him to it. That would be my first point of action. And then I would also sit with him and ask him that, what is the problem? I mentioned before that her actions could trigger a reaction from him that will get him thinking about what he's doing, which it seems is what is happening now. And since he's pensive and he's sober, this is a very, very opportune time for her to start speaking to him about his behaviors and asking him in a very gentle and understanding manner, what's the root of this? And I mentioned also that narcissists lack self-compassion. So they don't really value themselves as much as they portray. So when she comes across in that particular manner, it could also help him to get his guard down and start listening to what she's actually saying. It's very possible that he has never understood from her perspective what she's going through, or maybe thought, like it's just an expression of love and affection and attention. And this is the first time that maybe he's being brought to book and he started to think, look, maybe what I think is love is actually not love. It is a form of abuse and it's destroying my relationship. And if he really doesn't want to lose her, you start to consider taking steps to solve what is going on.
Great. Thank you very much. And I like the note on which we're ending. At least her approach worked, but I am happy that Adolf mentioned safety planning. Before you zoom in to do anything, you must be careful and take care of your safety. One of the reasons a therapist hasn't been brought into this is because consistently when they have conversations, even when they are fine, he says that he doesn't, who is a therapist? Like, how are you coming to teach me how to marry, how to be in my relationship, how to relate to my partner and all that? So you know that it's not something he's paying attention to. So rather what we will do, the conversations, the ammunitions, she will have to take them and then do the approach gradually and we'll see where it will go.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for your time. I think it's been very fruitful. It's been helpful.
Yeah.
If you find yourself in any such relationship, you have tools now to work with, and we're praying that you are able to make a home out of that house, no matter the situation. But don't die in there. Adolf says that nobody needs to die. If it is threatening your life, please, you need to find ways around it. Thank you very much. My name is Adam Naite. To the team, I say God bless you. We do this every Saturday morning. It's not easy, but I appreciate you a lot. Thank you. Weekend City Show is up next. We took a bit of your time, but we're done right now. Thank you. Next week we'll come your way with another edition of Home Affairs.
It's portable, disposable, and always on hand when you need it. Flora disposable handkerchief fits in your pocket or bag, and it's always ready to come to the rescue. Sweat? No problem. Coughs and colds? Caught safely. Tears of joy or despair? Wiped away. Flora tissues in the form of disposable handkerchiefs, box tissue, toilet roll, multi-purpose towels, and table napkins plays an important role in personal, home, school, office, and commercial hygiene, minimizing the spread of infections and keeping us healthy.